when you think about how people notice certain things that other people just aren't in tune to notice, my wife doesn't pay attention to backgrounds in movies, like, so she never sees anything coming. Everything's always surprising to her. And she's like, how do you always know what happens in the movie? I'm like, because I pay attention to the whole frame. Like when the new frame comes on the screen, I go top left to top right, bottom, and then I spiral to the middle. And I just take notice because I forget who it was. It was like some Russian like playwright said, if there's a gun in the background in Act 2, it has to be shot in Act 3. And that's kind of like the rule. And so I'm in tune to seeing that, but she's not. And it's probably the same way with some of these like audio technical wizards who hear, you know, like a cat meow and go, that should be the sound of a lightsaber.
Right.
Like,
which by the way, they made the lightsaber. I'm telling you, bro, I'm an encyclopedia, my wife says, of useless information. But anyway, let me stop. Random facts, she says, random facts. But I think a lightsaber is it's like a
tiger or something.
It's like a spring. It's
okay.
They bro, like a lightsaber hilt is made from an old camera light, the old fashioned camera lights.
Yeah.
Darth Vader's breathing is from the inside of a scuba oxygen tank, and they put the mic inside of it. So bro. I was watching a bunch of documentaries.
You should just do one of those, like, there's a podcast I listen to every now and then. It's called 20,000 Hertz.
Yeah.
And it's about like audiophile type stuff. And so they did like a whole episode on the boosh that you hear in like every trailer. How it's made, why they use it, like how it's overused now.
But you know what's criminally slept on is the guy who since passed away was the original voice guy.
Yeah.
His voice
there's an episode on him.
Bro, his voice. Oh my goodness.
It's so beautiful.
Hold on, let me get my popcorn. That was good. Hold on, Swiss, you might have a gift for voiceover work or something. Yeah. Think about it, man.
Hey, if anyone wants to hit me up for some VO,
you said in a world, and I was transporting back to like Last Action Hero trailer or something, bro.
In a world where Perry Illis teams up with Knaladeus.
Oh snap! In a world,
start doing 90s theme.
Why is it always one man though? Yeah. Why is it always one man? It's never like in a world of a man and his friends. It's like in a world, one man. Blah, blah, blah.
That's Lord of the Rings. That's
in a world, a bunch of hobbits.
Yeah.
A bunch of kings, a bunch of trolls.
Yeah. In a middle world.
and one hobbit who's a fiend.
Oh man! Hey,
he's a junkie hobbit.
Let's talk about your project, man.
Yes,
I want to hear kind of how you started, like what made you want to team up with Perry, how you guys like came across. Like, I want to know about the shadow boxing theme. I gave it a couple more listens today to prep, but I think for people who might be tuning in who don't know, this is the third time you're on the process. We did. I was there.
Mm-hmm.
I was there.
Yeah.
And then we did
and coincidentally you were there.
I was there
when we did the interview.
Yeah. And then we did beanies and snapbacks, which was fire with Soy. Shout out to Soy.
Oh,
and then,
my bro.
And now we're here for Shadow Boxing in the Dark. And that's coming up soon. So man, tell me why this project? Why now? What do you want people to know about it?
So so it goes back to dropping I Was There, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because as you know, beanies and snapbacks was kind of like done 75% done first. I Was There was another type of process for me, and Dayton again was kind enough to be like, yo man, this is unique, go with it. And even to some people off brand for me at the time to do, and which if you know me, that was really on brand. But
right.
And then Perry Illis, after I want to say it was like, trying to get the dates right, probably March of 2023, and so it's almost a year now. And Perry goes, bro, I really really love I was there. Like, I really love it. And I was like, wow, man, thank you. And he worked with Cephas already. He worked with a few other people and did a remix and stuff like that, and like remixes. And Perry is dope. He like genuinely loves the music. He loves it. Mm-hmm. And he's just a fan of CHH. He's a fan of artists. And he's just like, bro, we should do a project. And I was like, I don't know. I kind of got like burnout, He didn't know I was working on beanies and snapbacks yet. So I told him, bro, like I'm almost like I got something else to do, And Perry was just as dope as he is. I was just like, man, I don't know. I felt like I'm getting burnout, And then he sends me he sends me a few tracks actually, and one of them happened to be what ended up being "Sit Here."
Okay.
And that was really the song that started it. And this is like, I want to say like 3 months or so after my best friend passed away. So it was fresh. I was still trying to navigate. Like my friend Crescendo, my bro, he was like my biggest supporter. Like if I dropped a single, he wanted to take me out to celebrate. If I dropped, if I did a show, let's celebrate that. I got a placement or something, let's celebrate. He was very like, everything was a celebration. He was the one like he would, you haven't done enough shows. We got to set up a show. He's the reason I went to Harrisburg and performed in, my home I was there stuff in Harrisburg, and he's the reason one of the songs made the album, Stealing My Joy from I Was There. So it was like, I was dealing with that, the loss of that, which is like, we talked every day on the phone, known him since 2007, 08. And so, Perry comes along and he sends me these really kind of like somber records. And I was like, man, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like,
it kind of fits my mood.
Yeah. And he like caught me at the perfect time, honestly. And and then Sit Here was there, and I kid you not, it's one of those songs that is kind of scary because it writes itself.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about that song. He sent it to me and he goes, how would you rap to this? And I started going, dun, 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 dun. I was like, I'll call you right back. And probably in 30 minutes, I wrote that whole song.
Wow.
And kid you not, bro, it was like dictation. It was like somebody was just giving it to me.
Right.
I was like, oh, this is like, whoa. Like, this is flowing a little too simple for me. Like, this is crazy. And first verse, second verse. And I knew everything. I threw a lot of Easter eggs of my friend in that song, projects he did. I tried to like be clever with it. I was very open about it. I just really wrote from a place of a conversational. I think my music has become super conversational. Like, dude, I agree. Listen to my music. It's like, hey, he's giving you literally what's in his head, Yeah,
it feels like this almost, like we're just sitting at a table and you're responding to a question that the audience hasn't asked or hasn't heard that was asked, and they're like picking up on, I see what's happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always tell people I suck at communicating through speaking sometimes, and writing it just seems to be the better way. Like, me and my wife, we can get into a disagreement and I text her what I meant to her and she understands. She's like, I get it.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I jumble up. It's weird.
Well, it's probably because you're like, I have this problem too. My brain can sometimes go faster than my mouth.
Yeah.
And I need to slow down and like wait for my brain to stop. And then like, or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe my mouth is faster than my brain. I don't know, but it's all in there, but it's like mining the gold, if you will.
Right. And so, Sit Here was just, man, how I felt right there. It was like, and it's funny. I remember that day like yesterday. Like it was a beautiful day. It was March, so Florida's kind of pleasant at that time. It was a nice day. It was really sunny outside. It was like golden in time, cool weather, like chill weather. And I was in a rush because I had to pick up my kids from school. So I only had like 30, 40 minutes to record, write and record.
Okay.
And the hook came to me too. I wrote the 2 verses and then I sat in this very seat and I, just started humming it to myself. I was like, oh, that sounds like a good horse. And then words came. Mike was right here. Boom, went in, click, literally. And I sent it back to Perry and he goes, dude, that's whoa. And he just was like, you don't want to do it. You don't want to do a project then? And I was like, okay.
All right. You don't see the sign right here?
Yeah. And then I think it was like I was there. Then hors d'oeuvres came a little after that. It was a weird sequential order. It didn't go in order, but that's usually how it goes anyway. But
so wait, hold on. Let me run back real quick before you get ahead. You said you sat down and you started humming the melody out and then you wrote it out. Is that normally what you do? Do you normally start humming and then like find the cadence and then find the words, or do the words sometimes find the cadence?
So with rap, it's weird, right? And maybe it's just the way I had to like change my hard tuning, like, with my brain and the way I do music. But as someone who has had to write more singing stuff, right? I was like, you know what? Even rap can be treated like that. So with the sit here, the cadence came right away. The double the 3/4, I was like, oh yeah, that lends itself to me quick. And same thing with the chorus. So I'm sitting there and thankfully, the one thing, I'm not great at everything, but the one thing I get is music, and I'll hear the music playing, and it's like, I'm telling you, it's like it's gifted to me. I'm like, this sounds interesting. And then I'll just go from there, and I'll try to, when I write a chorus, and maybe, I'm giving a lot, very specific information about the chorus writing process for me, but when I write a chorus, I try to find words that sound good with that note. So usually I is a good entry word. You can bend I and make it sound nice and just kind of gracefully go into something, or a you or a me or a they. It's like those are like typical ways to get in a noun or pronoun or whatever. And I always try to find those. And I'm like, this is a personal song, so I'm going to start with I and talking about myself. And I'm like, okay, cool. Boom. And introspective tends to fly right off the cuff for me.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's a lot of humming. So I'm sitting there, and if the humming catches my attention, I'm like, okay, I think that's it. And then I like to say it, my courses are always 2-parters. So it's not just one through. It's just I change it halfway every time. And it was like a skill set I picked up being on Menace, and Dayton is like, man, Dayton is a very musical person. So he's thinking, man, the hook could be better if you change it here. And so my mind, again, changing the hardwiring and going, I can't just keep it that way the whole way. I got to change it halfway. Before I write anything, I'm just humming, just going, and then finding the piece. Okay, boom, boom. Okay, and that's how it's gonna go. Okay, repetition. I take my phone out, type it in, repetition, boom, and then I go into the mic. And
how often does that kind of like unicorn writing scenario happen where it's like, man, I wrote that in one sitting, 30, like that sounds like every artist's dream is like, man, why can't I just sit down and write this? But like, it's not like that happens every time you write a song.
Yeah. Because I tend to work when I'm feeling good in it, and when I'm in it already, that's what expedites it faster. So like, I won't write a song if I'm not feeling it, unless I have obligated myself to finish a song for someone, or I'll force it out, and it usually will flow a little bit, whatever. And there's songs like that. Like I always say, there's certain songs that just write themselves. And is it always like that? I would say I've conditioned myself through, cultivating my ability to be a fast writer. When I first started working with Menace, Dayton was very like surprised by that. He's like, bro, people don't do that. That's not normal. I thought everybody did that. I was like, hey man, you want me to rewrite that? He's like, yeah, can you rewrite that 24 bars? Give it back to me in a week. 45 minutes. There you go, man. Here's 24 bars. He's like, okay, can you do me a version of this? And then I'll send it back. He's like, dude, do you just have this prepared? I'm like, no, man. You told me to rewrite it. And it's not like I don't think it's a genius. It's just I think that's just how I cultivated it. And and I think like that. I think like that a lot. My brain goes on tangents. I'm always like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Well, it's like a creative designer at my work. We'll sit there and we'll do a dailies process, and our creative director will be like, I like this, I like that. I would change this a little bit, move this font here, change this picture, rotate here, and I think we're good. And then the artist does it, and they're done by like, an hour or two, and they're like, yeah, here it is. And they're like, yeah, that's great, perfect. shit.
And I also don't like to leave things unfinished.
Yeah.
And I'll rough it out until it's done. Like nope, I can't have a half song unless I intentionally want to leave a space open for someone else.
Right.
I'm very intentional with that. I'll let you know what, and I always pick collabs based off of their voice. Like I can hear this guy on it. It has to be him. If not him, I don't know about it, and I'll even try to have a backup maybe.
Yeah.
But that's usually how I even collab. I'll be like, oh, I can hear. I'll come up with a fake verse for that person in my mind. Like that, yeah. Such a, Stefanato will sound dope on that, or C4, and I'll hear him. I'll just be like, getting to know them. You almost kind of create your own version of them in your mind when they rap, and you're like, yeah, they can pull that off if they stick in that pocket. They do. Yeah. I'm very specific with that.
Stefanato's on hors d'oeuvres.
Yes,
and y'all dropped that like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago now. Yeah. So I know a lot of people have gotten a chance to hear that. And that's the first track off the album, right?
Yeah, because it was the most
backwards
upbeat
today, and it messed me up.
Oh, it did.
Now you're in a doubt.
Now I feel happy at the end. It's like, and that's why I was strategic about that, because I told you when we pick track, like really, man. And I think people don't appreciate this enough, but we really pick things apart before we put them out. And I'm thankful for Dayton for that reason. Like we run it by Dayton. Like, hey man, like I need your opinion. Like I usually am pretty good with my own track list. Hors d'oeuvres was like perfect for an intro. I'm like, dude, if I don't put that in the front, it's all for nothing. Like, and it's hors d'oeuvres, it's on the nose. And it was literally called hors d'oeuvres. You know what I mean? Because, Perry's from, Montreal, and you know what I mean? And he speaks French. So yeah, he was like, man, he called it hors d'oeuvres. And I was like, that's kind of cool. I like that. And I had a verse. So on that one, it was super easy because I already had a verse, and I figured I can use it because I talk about the two, the bread and the fish, and I was like, maybe I can use that. And Steph is like is very like he can cook I'm not even trying to like blow him up, but he at one point
I'm not trying to blow him up. This is my show. Stefanato, you get on.
you got, and let me tell you, man. At one point he did pursue like the culinary arts, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like schooling and all that. So he's legit can cook, and so we have a joke on Menace and close friends. We call him Chefanato.
Okay, so wait, when you first said cook, I thought you were like using the like euphemism, like no. No, you mean like literally he's a chef. Like, okay,
Steph cooks on and off beat. Yeah, on and off the beat. And he's dope, man. And I don't know, it was just like it was on the nose. It was like Steph gets culinary stuff. We're calling it hors d'oeuvres. Steph is Afro-Caribbean.
Okay.
Boom. He speaks French like fluently. So I was like, boom. Like the only guy on Menace that this is made for almost. So and Perry loves Steph, and they have a connection with that too. So I was like, you know what? Hey Steph, bro, what you think? And he heard it, loved it. I already had the hook. We got the hors d'oeuvres. I did all that stuff already. So I just laid it out. And Steph being Steph, man, when you lay it all out perfectly like that for him, where you just kind of here you go. That's his like sweet spot right there. Boom. Okay, I got you. And bro, I really don't he really put culinary metaphors in there. Like he really did.
Yeah.
It's a lot of culinary stuff.
Dayton did a post on that verse, I thought, somewhere.
One of his favorite verses, bro. And I think Steph blazed it. Like, I was like, bro, that has to be verse of the year too, man. Like, he was like, no, but your verse. I'm like, no, bro. Like, I saw you cooking when you rapped that, man.
Yeah.
Like, I could see him on the stove. Like,
we didn't do that music video.
Oh, listen, that was one of the things I wanted to do. Hopefully, maybe we can still pull out. But yeah, I had a whole idea for that, man.
Man, if I like had unlimited time and resources, I would direct music videos. I think that'd be
fire,
the funnest
bro.
job.
I think you would be the one to do it too.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun ideas when I come up with them, but
that would be fire, bro.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about the track Post-it Notes.
Yeah.
Man, I was listening to that in the car with my wife today, and she's like, man, this song's kind of heavy.
Oh yeah,
a little bit. So like, man, I want to know what was going on while you were writing that song specifically.
So the story behind that song is there's like a pop rendition of that I created originally to a guitar like riff.
Really?
I'll send it to you. Yeah,
I want to hear it.
it's like more on like a Justin Bieber type Ed Sheeran thing, and I like that wrote itself because me and her had a little spat, and I was like, man, she's still beautiful to me.
Right.
I don't know. I'm that guy. She's getting angry, and I'm just like, you're pretty. You're still very pretty. So I was being a jerk. You know, we're husbands, man. It's like I was being a little bit of a jerk about it in my mind.
Yeah.
She said, "Why are you smiling? That's not funny." And I just walk upstairs and I'm like, I know how to make this up. I kid you not, bro. And then I get on my keyboard, I figure the chordings out, and this is for the original. When you hear it, you understand what I mean. Okay. And I'm playing the chordings to get this guitar kind of riff going. And bro, when I tell you it wrote itself, I think I came with the chorus first.
Okay.
And I was like, man, even when we argue, man, you still look beautiful. I was like, man, yeah, okay. I was on my brownie points, I was like, I need to get some brownie points. So that song wrote itself like, I need to get this going.
Right.
Make it sound as nice as possible. I sang my butt off. Like I made sure everything was as good as I could get it. And then the original specifically, when you hear the original is even in a higher key. Okay. And I played for my wife and she was like, okay, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, she's probably like, hey,
she still loves that song. And she really likes the original a lot. And for obvious reasons, I think Dayton, was like, man, it's just so not in your field, bro. It's crazy. Like, I don't know what to do with it. And so when I did this project, speaking of that, Perry sent me that beat, and because of my ear, I can just adjust it in my head, the key, just normal. And I'm listening to the beat, and Perry's like, man, what about this beat? I know it's kind of smooth, and you think you could do something? I was like, I don't know. And what I do is when I'm ready to write, I just listen to it a lot. And I'm just like, okay. And I kid you not, bro. I started singing the song. I could sing it in that key. I was like, that's how I'm going to put it out. Because otherwise it would have just sat, And so I said, okay, I'm going to see what Dayton thinks about it if I can do it. I re-sang it. Dayton remembers the song. I said, bro, what if I do it like this? It's like a hip hop hybrid of a R&B kind of thing. And he goes, oh yeah, this could work. It's on brand.
Yeah, it's like smooth and like, but you could tell it was like, it's to me now knowing that story,
right?
The song fits the mood that you were in at the same time. You know what I mean? It's almost like you can make a banger and get me hype. To make a song to make me go, man, I wonder what was going on in the middle of that. That sounds, I know I've been where he's been, but like, what's that?
Yeah, like it wasn't like a John Legend Ordinary People video. It wasn't like that. But
okay.
I'm being stupid. It was just a disagreement, and maybe we were annoyed with each other, and I just kept thinking to myself, girl, you cute, you know what I mean? And I just walked away being a little troll, husband at the time, being a dad and a husband. And I was just like, that's a good song. I just knew. I don't know, bro. I was like, man, this has potential to be something. And I like to write from a real honest place. Even a love song has to be honest to me. Like, I want other couples like yourself and your wife to hear and go, well, yeah, I can relate. That's really relatable. But it sounds good. But it's truthful. And luckily, too, what ended up working out really cool was the original was just all my vocals, which I'll send you. Is again, totally different vibe, but it's dope. And I might just put it out like one day as like unreleased or whatever. But Perry's wife is an amazing singer.
Okay.
His wife is like amazing vocalist, right? And Perry goes, man, how would you feel about my wife singing on this? And I was like, yeah, I mean, can she do the harmony? He was like, yeah. And I told him where to record her, and he got studio time for her, and he put her in the booth, and she killed that, man. And added a brightness to the hook aspect of it. And the bridge, she added this bright, woman vocals just have this brightness to them, and this, I don't know, like almost like a shimmer to them that a male vocal can't have. And so she just came in there and killed it, bro. She did a bunch of other stuff in there that it was unusable because it was a lot of runs, and I was like, man, but it was so good.
But even your vocals on it, like the always be with you, always at my, like those notes, man. Like I was like, dang, bro.
Well, a lot of people don't know, but and I think we've talked about this, but You know, I sing worship at my church,
Right.
and I lead worship sometimes. And so, really, I think I was telling some of the crew from Menace, I was like, you know, I think singing made me a better performer and a rapper, actually, believe it or not, because it taught me a lot about how to use all this, you know, the
breath
diaphragm,
control and
everything, like hitting a high note, where to breathe, and it conditioned my voice better. Even at the age I'm at now, like, man, it really helped me develop better. But you know, it's funny, bro, to get into more of a, like, referencing that aspect of me, my mom and dad thought I was going to be a singer. Like, since I was a child, they said I was singing in the house. I don't even remember this stuff like that. And my mom says, man, you would sing everything. So when I started rapping, I almost felt like I let him down. Well, not my dad as much, because my dad was a hip hop head, but my mom was just kind of like, what? You're gonna rap?
What?
What about your voice? You know?
Yeah.
And when I think at one point I didn't exercise it enough, so I lost the confidence. I didn't think I had a good voice anymore. And then I couldn't get nobody to sing for me. At one point, I remember I was having trouble getting a hook person, because I would always have other guy friends that I had that could rap and sing. And I was like, hey, man, I wrote a hook. Come over here.
Yeah, I got you.
Man, and then one time, a few of my friends were like, bro, why don't you just sing it, bro? I know you could probably sing it. And I was like, I don't know. Then it kept happening. Close friends of mine, man, you could sing, because I was showing them what I want. And they're like, bro, why don't you just do it? And I was writing songs for other people. It was weird. And then I started.
You know what's funny, before you go forward, is my last episode of the process was with Scribe.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And he has an exact same story.
Yeah.
And I remember when he and I were talking about, man, you and Knaladeus need to.
I know, man. We
do.
And then we still need to make that happen. We still need to make that happen.
Y'all need to connect. You and Scribe, similar stories, similar vibes. I think y'all two would. I think y'all two would cook.
I would definitely do it. Yeah, he's amazing. He's really amazing. His voice is amazing.
He's in Africa right now.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
I wish I could casually say that. You know?
Yeah, right.
What?
Like, hope he's having a great time. But
man, that's fire. Yo, man, send me a ticket. Not playing.
Yeah, right.
You know, but yeah, you know, it's not a place I get to, like, explore much of. So Post-it Notes was like, let me see if I can get away with it.
Right.
You know,
right.
without. You know, making it weird. And it's like funny, bro. I was talking to you earlier today. Like, I was at a retreat with my worship team and writing songs, you know, like, so my heart I've noticed, because the music I grew up listening to, hip hop was there. No pun intended. I know you caught that. But it was, you know, like, if you listen to the intro of I Was There, that was the reason for it. Like, my dad was like, oh, he didn't mention one rapper. He was just like, yeah, you like Luther Vandross and Lou Rawls and Anita Baker, all these other people. And I'm sitting there going, man, he didn't mention one rapper. And what I was listening to as a baby and as a toddler, what I was reacting to. But I kid you not, you go in my house, bro, in the 90s, R&B all day. It was just like constant. I'm like, you would think I would have had 10 siblings as much R&B as they listened to. You know what I mean? 10 siblings at least, you know? I'm like, why are we listening to so much? I went to bed hearing R&B. I was just like, this is insane. But, you know, it definitely influenced me, and not in a bad way, but I almost feel like I started to embrace it just later in my life, you know, like as of right now. And, you know, at first, you know, Dayton was just kind of like, you know, you really want to go do this stuff? And I'm like, I feel like I can try to pull it off. And so I Was There was a taste of that. And then, as you know, and then I sprinkle it here and there, you know, wherever I'm able to. And then Post-it Notes was just like, man, I'm gonna just try. I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna just try it. And I hope people like that one, man.
That album or that record and Sit Here feel like extensions from I Was There.
Yes,
because of the key heavy, like the piano, like instrumentalization of it sounds familiar to what you did on that.
You know what? You touched on something. I love it. That's why I love talking to you, bro. Let me tell you. Because I like to sew like the together. I always love to somehow put pieces of each other. So I Was There. Beanies and Snapbacks, to me, it represents just a whole, just the pure hip hop aspect of myself and with Soy. And I Was There is knit together with, I think that's why Perry was on the nose with those beats, because he was like, man, I really like that project. So I think he was just in that vein.
He was,
you know,
inspired by it.
Yeah, and it was dope because it kind of gave me a nice little bridge.
Yeah.
So I consider I Was There the bigger brother, and then that one is like the middle child, and further on there are connections to this one that will come about, which I don't want to jump the gun too much, but definitely
not jump the gun, man.
It's Easter eggs. Okay. And I love it because I love film. We talk about this, I love film. So I like to put Easter eggs in albums to set something else up. So like I was there, I ended it with Still in My Joy, which was more upbeat. And Still in My Joy has a certain vibe that I carry on to not even this project, but the following project to come. And then if you listen to songs like I'll Wait, where there's a choir in it, that's an Easter egg because I'm going into something else. Yeah. But I'm saying a lot, but Sit Here and I Was There, Sit Here specifically and I'll Wait are like sister songs. Okay. Those two specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, the I'll Wait choir feel felt like a pew, like an old school pew, like Baptist style church with like the uniforms on, singing. And now that one I listened to a few times because that one was heavy. Or at least like maybe not heavy, but like introspective, and like it's a type of song. Like I don't want to give away for people who haven't heard it yet, but like it's a type of song where you're like, am I doing it the way that you're doing it? Like you're being instructive. Yeah. Instructive.
Well,
like not in like you do what I do, but like I'm gonna let you in and do with it what you will, but it's just like good role modeling, if you will.
Yeah, I find now at the age I'm at now, and I think you can relate with this too, man. I mean, whenever I have this conversation with the mature adults, they say the same thing. I find that as you get older, you try to reconcile your youth and the trauma and everything from there. Yeah. And so I notice my music is a lot of me dealing with the teenage years and now, like I'm still processing it. And so I was there was more of like introspective, like all around. But when you go into records like, well, actually I was there was more of an adult me. You know what I mean? That's more like, that's me in my current state. For some reason, Shadowboxing in the Dark made me go back. And it was like, Sit Here was dealing with current trauma and being and dealing with the perspective of, man, like when I talk about my children, that was very personal. Like I get emotional listening to that because my kids look up to me, but I'm like, I don't want you guys to be like some parts of me. Yo. I don't want that. Right. I really don't. And they've heard the song and they're like, Dad, why'd you say that? You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, it's honest, And I said, when you get older, you'll realize that, And with I'll Wait, that's a memory. Those are all memories that have resonated. Like the reason I was going to church 3 hours before it started, when nobody was there, to go into the chapel prayer room where to dim the light, where there was this huge wooden cross in it and a bunch of the old school pews with the knee pads, like thing. Yeah. I was going there to get away from my house, my environment, because I didn't like what was happening at my home. So I'm going there as a teenager to find God, because I'm like, well, I feel safe here. Like I had this talk with my wife and got emotional. I was like, I let her hear that song, and for the first time she understood. She said, whoa, because she knew me back then. Because we go back to like 13 years old. Oh, wow. So yeah, she knows bro, and she knows the worst parts of me. She knows where I come from. So she hears that song and gets emotional because she's like, you're saying the truth. Like, I'm not exaggerating. So I'm going to this chapel that's no longer there. It's kind of sad, but going to this chapel and just staying in a dark, dim room with a big cross and feeling the safest I am. Yeah. 3 to 4 hours before church even starts. Youth group. And I feel so safe. And I have my little drawstring bag and my notebook and my pen and my headphones and my CD player. You know what I mean? Non-skip, of course. And
you had to have
non-skip and bass boost. Come on. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was Sony. Yeah, that was in fashion.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You had to get the Sony bass boost, no skip.
Energizer batteries, it mostly worked the best. And I'm sitting there listening to instrumentals, man, and feeling safe. Like that, this is where I'm safe. I would do that. I did that for like a period of 2-3 years of my life, just really
Yeah.
And I had to walk miles to get there. It wasn't like it was down the street. I'm walking like 5.5, 6 miles straight to down all the way down just to get to this church to go, I'd rather be here. I'd rather be in this room. So I'll wait is very like, I want to go back there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to go back there and like in a time capsule and pray in that room again. You know what I mean? Like go back to that kid. Like, what was I looking for? You know what I mean? I was looking for something. Obviously, and God was like encountering me eventually. But that was like, it's like a special, and it's crazy that I shared that because that's like a special like part of me, like my secret place almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I remember I took my wife back home to where I grew up a couple of years ago. It's like 2001. So yeah, like 3 years ago. And I remember her looking at me and just being like, I kind of get you a little bit more now, like after she met my mom and saw my dad. She didn't meet my mom like 3 years ago, but I just remember like each time we like go somewhere that's from my childhood, because she's from Texas. So we go to her hometown all the time. We almost never go out of state to see my family that much because they're spread out and we just don't see them as often because they're just not close. So when we do, it's always like, she's like, man, kind of get you a little bit more. And it is comforting and it kind of brings you back unified more in your marriage when you get to like share those kind of deeper moments. Like you say, you're saying she knows like the worst parts of you, but like she also knows like the intimate parts of you and now this part of you. And so like she could just relate even better.
Every time I introduce people to my family, I'm like, I got to give them a debrief. I'm like, so listen, before we go in. So, I love my family, scars and all, man, but they're a wild bunch, you know what I mean? I love them all, but
yeah,
people meet me, they're, the Christian one, who's like really working on himself with Christ, right? But goodness, they meet my family. I remember my wife one time saying, y'all, you sure you're related with those cousins? I'm like, yeah, we're blood, we're the first cousin. Because it's funny, even on that subject matter, it's like, I remember visiting my family with my wife for the first time in 2012, right? And I took her to where I was from and projects and all this stuff. Because it's just hearsay until you see it, right? And my wife goes and she's just like, wow, I really feel bad for you. Like, this is where you're from? And I'm like, hey, relax. I survived. You know what I mean? But don't talk about my city like that, but and we go back and she meets some family and she goes, I don't see it. Because it's different vibe and and my cousin said something to me, one of my cousins, and it really impacted me, bro. She said to me, this is one you weren't supposed to be this. You know that, right? And I said, what do you mean? And I was like confused. She goes, you were supposed to be someone else. This was not who you were supposed to be. And she meant it like, you knew your path. You saw what your dad did. You saw what your brother struggled with. You were supposed to do that. Yeah. And for me, I took that as thank God. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, you still are the same Eddie from, Hall Manor and Uptown. I mean, the Hill. I'm always saying Uptown. It's my other family's at, but from the Hill and from, Hall Manor projects, you're still that kid. They always tell me that, but you seem different. Obviously it's Christ, but they're like, you see, you're not, your destiny was not this. And had you stood here, it wouldn't be. That's why my mom made us leave. She was looking at the trajectory. She was like, my older brother was already on his way another way. Right. And, it was just one of those things like, he's the youngest. I can't let him do that. And I remember she was just like, I got to get out of here, So coming to Florida really was just like promised land kind of thing, and God really used it. I think either way, in God's ultimate plan, he would have found me, allowed me to found him. But I feel like, stuff like I'll Wait, songs like that, highlight that. Like, I don't know if I was supposed to be here like that. You know what I mean? Like, and when I go back and then you find out kids you grew up with, went to elementary school with, they're dead and they're in prison. They got a bunch of kids from different, partners. It's like, whoa, like
the baby mama's babies.
Whoa, man. They it's like jackrabbits over there, man. But it's such, but and so I'm actually going to visit in June. So it's funny with my mom to visit family. But It's still home, but you know, it's like, it's one of those things, like when I go back, I'm like, it's so different.
Does it bring you, like, whenever I go home, man, I get super like bummed out, and I'm like, man, I'm thankful I'm not here anymore. Like, this place is a crap hole.
Yeah.
Like, I'm ready to go. Like if I don't ever have to go back to California, I never will. Like, I'll never go back.
Oh, you were banging your set out there. Let me stop. That's what you know, it's funny, bro. So I have mixed feelings about Harrisburg, right? Because there is a nostalgia to it for me, right? So yeah, there's that, it worked out, right? But then there's that, that's why when I shot, and I know we're talking about the EP, but I was there, the cover, that's why that cover was important. Because I was trying to show beauty in a place that's really mundane. Right. That people walk by. And you have to be from that city to know where that intersection's at. Right. My mom and dad even told me, you could have picked any intersection. You picked the intersection that we spent a lot of our life on. Yeah. And I knew that. And the angle that my cousin, shout out to my cousin Jay Solo, took that picture from like a forced perspective. Yeah. It looked pretty. So my mom, and I might have said this already, but my mom saw that picture and cried. Because she goes, wow, you were there, and you were in a stroller, and then you weren't in a stroller, and then you were walking, and then now you're an adult. And so it made my mom cry. My dad got choked up. I didn't expect that from just showing him a picture on my phone of a cover. Right. But all that to say, I learned how to find beauty there now. And interesting. When I go back, it's like, hey, I'm from here, but look at the potential of what God can do with someone from here.
No, that's a great perspective.
Man, yeah, it gets me emotional, man. I ain't gonna lie, but I was just talking to my wife about, like, that's why, I know it's not about that, but that album is still, like, to me, it's like super slept on. But I put a lot of personal stuff into a lot of my music, so that's the greatest cosign, bro. When your parents can look at a cover you did for your music and go, oh.
I get it, yeah.
Like, she saw that I was there in my handwriting, because that was my actual handwriting.
Okay,
and she goes. And she just cried because my mom knows my handwriting. She just goes, wow, it's like a letter. I was like, yeah. And I was like, hey, do I get your approval? And then a lot of family from the city wrote me, hey, man, that cover, how'd you make it look nice? Yeah. You made it look pretty. There's like road work going on in the picture and everything. Yeah. But all that to say, yeah, when I go back, like even now, I'm actually really looking forward to going back because I have a lot of older relatives and people who serve God my whole life, so I look forward to seeing my family, but it is bitter. It's more bittersweet now. It's a very big, like I go back, I get to be a Harrisburgian for a little bit. I go back, I get to enjoy the good stuff about it. And then I get to leave. So it's nice, in bits. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I definitely get it.
Yeah. I don't want to stay here, but
yeah.
And I almost moved back. It was like a desperate time. I almost moved back because I could have, my uncle he's just really good with like fixing houses up. We almost had a situation work out, but it wasn't God's will, Mm-hmm. And I prefer to be in God's will at any moment, and not try to step outside of those lines. But I just remember it worked out. It worked out, bro. I was really close. But going back, it feels some of that satisfaction to see. I don't know, bro. I feel like it's like when not to be corny, right? But I love metaphors. It's like when Superman,
a rapper that loves metaphors. What?
Say more. Do say, but it's like when Superman. I can't use the krypton metaphor because it weakens him, right? But let's say when Superman goes to the sun and he gets rejuvenated and feeds on the radiation of the sun.
Right.
When I go back to Harrisburg, it like actually refuels me creatively.
Okay.
Because when I go back, that's why a lot of my music takes place there, because it's I go back and it's like my soil. It's like Russell Crowe in Gladiator when he grabs the dirt wherever he fights, and then he drops it, and then he kills a bunch of people. I feel like when I go back, I refuel, and I'm like, because I think it was Bob Marley who said, like, you don't know where you're going until you see where you came from, or you can't know where you're going unless you know where you came from. It's like, I got to go back sometimes to go, this is where you came from, bro. Like, don't forget that.
Yeah.
I drive through the projects, like still one of the roughest projects in the city. And I drive through it with a cousin sometimes. And I just go, just drive slow. And I just look around and I do this. And I'm like, I used to walk this, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. Like, when you see what it looks like, you're like, oh my gosh, bro. Like, and then I go, thank you, God. It's like one of those things, like, thank you, God. I could have died here. Thank you, God. You know?
Yeah.
Left. Then I go to the other parts of the city I lived at, and I'm like, wow, I lived in that building. It's abandoned. You know, like,
yeah.
Thank you, God. Like, whoa. And then I get to come home when we get so complacent and take it for granted, and I could be in a better home. And then, bro, I came from that.
Like, yeah.
God is good, man. Like, and a lot of my family wised up, and a lot of them don't live necessarily in the city like that anymore. Mm-hmm. So, like, when I go over there, I don't stay in Harrisburg. Like, I stay across the bridge, man. Like,
right.
And then I go into it when I need to. But I have family that live right across the river, and they learn quick. You know what I mean? Like, nah, man, it's good from afar. But the church, my home church. So another thing is, and I was there covering the intersection, like right there. That's my home church, like my childhood church.
That's dope. Okay.
And so that's why it's very sentimental. And I'll visit dude, listen, I'm not trying to say this to be mad messed up, but like if somebody wanted to take out one side of my family, all they had to do was wait till a Sunday and like massacre. Yeah. Because like it's like seriously, they're all there. You know what I mean? Like, hey man, I want to see what Knaladeus' mom's side of the family is like. Just go to that church on Sunday. You're probably gonna see 80% of the relatives in there, man.
Wow.
It's so cool. But that's another thing is I get to go to church and see him and go, and the church I grew up in, and I'm like, what's up, man?
Yeah.
You guys are roll.
See all the gum that you left under the pews.
Don't get me on the tangent. Listen, my uncle was the head usher. Sorry, Theo. I hate putting him on the spot. I think he regrets it now, but he was very strict. And he was the head usher. So, we grew up very Pentecostal, and he had to like dress up in the white gloves and like he was a mime,
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he would just do this. He would watch us while we were in the aisle, and he'd be like, and he would just go. And it's because he was the head usher. It was like, yo, he ratted us all out. Bro, I used to bring toys to church. I used to bring Ninja Turtles. I used to do all types of stuff in my jacket. And he would pat me down, bro. Like, my uncle was next level. He was dedicated, bro. Dedicated.
We need to do a skit about your uncle and like do like a YouTube series of videos of like
I love you, Theo. Listen, I love you, Theo. If you ever went across this interview, because he does support my music. Theo, listen, I love you. It's just a joke. I know you don't. We had a long.
No, but like that sounds like a Mad TV, like an SNL skit. Like
we literally had a deep
this
talk.
Dude just patting down a kid and be like, "What's this?
What's this?
What is this?"
It's like a churchy church.
It's Michelangelo,
bro. Listen, my church was so old fashioned. Everything was the devil. You know what I mean? So
right.
What are those demon turtles? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
mutants.
That's demonic.
More like demons.
Yeah. See, turtles that talk. That's a demonic thing. I'm like, well, but not a mule that talks. But I won't. No, I'm like,
right.
No, yeah. I love my uncle. He actually was very apologetic about that. Last year, I went with my wife again. Like it had been a while. And I brought it up as a joke, and he really was like, I was just really dedicated, and I wish I didn't do that. And I was like, whoa, were we having a moment? I'm sorry, it was a joke. I don't look at, but he really took that serious to heart. He was like, hey man, look, it was a long time ago. I was really dedicated to the pastor and the leader. I was like, look, I got my turtles back. We're good.
Right.
I got more than enough.
That's so funny.
It is, man.
So when is the project dropping? Is it going to be on Bandcamp, all that? Like where's it dropping?
So I gotta check if Menace has the Bandcamp. I know Dayton was trying to establish that for us.
Did y'all need to do it, man? I'll buy it. I know Stefanato's last album was on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to Dayton because I would love to have whatever I have under Menace. I would love to have it up there. I love Bandcamp, by the way, too. I support people on there. But yeah, so the last Friday, I'm gonna have to look at the calendar so I don't mess this up. The last Friday of the month, May 31st, will be the official release. And bro, you're getting the official date. Like we haven't even said anything yet. But Big Swiss always gets the official
exclusive.
But always, you already know, bro. We just dropped the last of the singles, so we did Shadowboxing title track. But man, I only really have, other than Perry's Wife, there is only 2 features on the album, or the EP, excuse me, EP. And by the way, Perry, I have to mention this. Perry did want to make an album, right? A full-length album.
Right.
Dane was like, no, man, because you know what I mean? I was literally album a few months ago. And then
right.
I had beanies and snapbacks coming, which was off of Menace because it was a me and Soy thing as a group. But Dayton was like, bro, that's a lot of music. He's like, you're right. I was trying to squeeze it out. Like, yo, what do we just make it out? Because the way we were flowing, 6 songs could have been 10 songs, you know? And
yeah.
But I know Perry wanted to do an album, and he was like,
so wait, what's the strategy then? Like, why? Like, if I'm a fan,
yeah,
like, I'm interested in analytics. You know who's really into this too is Mowgli on Indie Tribe. He's a data. He's a data nerd. But like, it's kind of like looking at these artists that drop a single a week instead of making an album kind of thing.
Right.
And then you have like, I'm thinking like Norman San or Big Gucci Mane or whatever his name is. Oh, what's his name? He's like a Christian hip hop guy. He drops like a song every other week, but never releases an album.
Yeah.
And then you have, like this, where it's like, you already have 2 albums out in a year. You can't put 3 albums out. It's like Nas just did it. Like, and no one complained.
You know what it is? For me, I was a very frequent dropper. So like back when, wow, that sounded so bad. Like I have a bowel system or something. I'm a frequent dropper. I could be in a store and just let one loose, you know?
Right.
Oh IDS. Man, that's terrible. Sorry guys. This is where my mind goes, by the way. Goodness gracious. I still need his salvation. Let me tell you, his grace.
Every day.
Hey bro, this is what is it called? We are, man, it's a theological term and it's killing me that I can't think of it.
Sanctified?
Sanctification is continual.
It's
right?
a process.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's a process.
Daily, every day. The rest of our lives, we got to work through sanctification.
Yep.
But anyway, I was about to say an R word. What is it going to be? Recovery? What does that mean? Ignore me. But so, wow, I just went blank. Okay, so back on the release thing. So before I was signed, I was very like, I think the most I would probably do was like 2 albums a year. Right. Which we're talking 2010 to like 2017, 18. Bro, I might even have 3 projects a year. People back then were like, bro, this is overkill. Check this out, which is crazy how the industry switched so much. I think I was ahead of my time with that. But people were like, bro, relax, man. We got to enjoy what you just did. And I'm like, people complain. Now, where's everything? Where's it at? And for me, so beanies and snapbacks to me was like, it was definitely something I had to drop that year because we sat on that for like a year and a half, bro, like almost 2 years. And
wow.
Soy travels a lot for his work, and so he's like, man, when I come home, man, like I would love to finish it. And following my friend's passing, he was like, which is a mutual close friends of ours. Like we all were close. And he was like, man, bro, we got to drop something. Like, let's not wait. Time is short. Like that's what beanies and snapbacks really was like, yo, our friendship. It was like, yo, we don't drop this, bro. Like when will we drop it? And so Dayton was kind enough to go, nah, bro, you have your collective that you rock with, which is called Feel Good.
Right.
Shout out to Feel Good. And, put it, rock it with your collective. And I wanted it, again, Pete Rock, CL Smooth, Gangstar type thing. Let's just do that. And beanies and snapbacks it is, And so that's why that was able to exist in the same year. I was there, I feel like it was made out of time, in my opinion, because it should have been an album that was more digested by the consumer. And those who rock with it. Beatings and snapbacks to me was just like a punch. It was like boom, like straight up visceral, just boom bap, or what they call gritty-ish, but it was very boom bap. Right. And it was kind of like it fed the need for people to go, well, does he do hip hop still? You know what I mean? So I'm happy I did it when I did, because beanies and snapbacks garnered me a little bit of attention from different places that I was there did not get attention from.
Yeah.
So
last year felt like a resurgence of the boom bap, right? Because we had beanies and snapbacks, Bodega, 99. Like there was just so many good IP, all the
Guillotines
stuff that YP
East,
man.
The Commissioners.
Yeah. Bro, like all that stuff. Hideous. Was Hideous last year by C4?
I want to say yes. I
mean, like, last year felt like, man, we're getting this like big boom.
Hideous is another one, man. Good. I can speak that.
That's the title track gets me, man.
It's gritted. It's criminally slept on.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of his best work. A lot of people feel that way in the camp. Like, yo, that was an amazing body of work, bro. And it was me and him being organic, bro. Like that, that's one of my best friends as well. Like C4, like it was just our relationship, like, bro. And people were like, oh, but there's too much smooth stuff. I'm like, bro, well, listen, I was there. C4 saw that and was like, man, maybe I can touch something in a similar vein and with some of the smooth stuff. And it's me. So he's like, hey, can you try to something I can do? And C4 really wanted to branch out a little bit and just because C4 is a very well-rounded artist. He's not just bar for bar guy. He can do that in his sleep, obviously. Like, and he establishes that early on.
Right.
But he's like, bro, but I got another side to me and I got these other ideas. And he's really dope at writing like the singy stuff, the songs. Like he's really good at hooks. So there's just this other part of him. So I had to take that moment and say that because we had that conversation. Like, I was like, man, C4, like, I mean, he got acknowledgement for it, like, at the KCA, and I just think it wasn't what people expected, and I think it took people off guard.
Yeah.
With C4. They were like, wait, what? C4 got a whole auto-tune record? Like, what's this? Like, I made the one gritty beat I think I made on there, he's singing on it. So they were like,
right,
what's this? And I was like,
well, and you got the gritty guy also talking like more self-introspectively and like kind of like a low self-esteem kind of style.
Yeah.
Which is not what you think of with C4, which I think is why people connected with it, because it's like, yeah, there is another side to you.
Well, I mean, I was there, and I'm not trying to take credit for that, but I was there. I think what I think it did within the camp and peers that rock with it with me, they were like, you can take a chance like that. You can actually take a risk. I'm like, yeah, bro, we're artists. Let's take a risk. And I think it's not the full reason, but I also think it was part of it why C4 was like, yo, I think I'm going to try to take a risk. And Dayton was kind of like, yeah, okay, let's go for it. Because I kind of opened the floodgates of, hey guys, be free. You know, let's, you know, don't have a regret, man. You can make an album like me. You can, you know, because I tell you what, I could see it in a year or two now. Somebody's going to do something similar to I Was There, and they're going to be like, he's innovating. That's just my luck sometimes, you know. But
well, it's cyclical though, right? Because I could even say, you know, like I Was There reminds me of like there's not much that it does remind me of, but you know, you have this soul jazz influence in the way that you do it, right? And so
I can tell you the influences though to be that's like on the nose.
Yeah, like I'm assuming
like Robert Glasper.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of that. I really, it was my failed attempt. You know, like John Mayer says a quote that I love. He says, "I'm a failed attempt at sounding like my influences."
Okay,
which is a dope. That's a dope quote. Because
I don't usually hear this influence in you, but sometimes I do. Like I think I heard it in hors d'oeuvres. There's like at least sonically sounds similar to man, the name is like right on Adrian Young. Do you like Adrian Young?
You know, it's funny. I'm familiar, but I'm not like super familiar. But no, I really don't. Adrian Young. Know what it is? So I'll tell you what people tell me, and they're kind of right and they're not. The biggest comparison I get, which is flattering because he's made a huge resurgence in the last several years and he's back on top, like as he should be, was like a Nas thing. They were like, oh man, you have this Nas
you sound
thing.
Like him. Yeah, you sound like him.
He definitely was one of the fathers of my style because he made me want to rap. He was the reason I said, I think I want to rap for real. And it was a message and it was written that really was like, whoa, this guy's different. Like you could rap like that. And Rakim, which was one of his influences.
I love Rakim.
You know, Slick with the like story time. I love that, and I grew up with that. Jimmy Spicer, even though that's like a really old 70s hip hop song with the disco in it, he was telling a lot of stories in it. And then of course I grew up with the Sugar Hill Gang, you know, and Rapper's Delight. So to me, I was a storyteller, and I knew that. But Nas was like, oh, he's doing what I'm trying to do. And so as a kid, if you go back to, I'm gonna have to send you like my 14-year-old first recording in the studio.
Oh, I'd love to hear
it. Goodness. It's very undeveloped. But I was better at mimicking other rappers back then in terms of if I got a Biggie beat, I'm gonna try to rap like Biggie. You know, stuff like that. And I was heavily into actually Mobb Deep instrumentals like the Havoc beats and some of the Alchemist beats, obviously. And so Nas was more like, I want to tell stories like that guy. The voice thing, I can't really do anything about, but when I was a teenager, I did try to inflect my voice like him.
Okay.
And when I feel like I finally found my style is when I got the comparisons. So if you would have told me at 15, 16, yo, you sound like Nas, I would have like, yo, for real? Goal achieved, right?
Yeah, right.
I get older and people are like, yo, you sound just like, I'm like, that's coincidence, man. I'm not even trying. And if you listen to my dad's voice, which he's on the intro of I Was There, or if you listen to my brother, which Easter egg, he was supposed to be on Beanies and Snapbacks, and you owe me, bro, for that because he had 12 bars and he couldn't finish them, but I ain't gonna go there. And he was supposed to be on the track that YP did, actually. My actual brother.
Oh, really?
And my brother has a raspier voice. We sound so different, but we have a similar resonance because of our dad. Because my dad has this raspy tone. So I think that's where the rasp comes from. And my inflection when I rap, because I've heard people say, man, if your dad was rapped like that, he'd sound like that. I was like,
yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Nas has
I wonder how much
tone.
you practicing puts your voice in that.
You know
way.
what?
You know what I mean?
I don't think it did because I was terrible at sounding like him. So like, believe it or not,
well, that's what you think. Because that's what you hear. But like,
like my kid, like when I was a kid, I thought Nas sounded like an old guy. So that's what I mean by bad. So I'm like, man. Like I sounded like Marlon Brando, bro. I was like, what was I doing? I was like, Michael, you let the family down, Michael. So I was doing.
That was good.
Yeah, I was doing some weird old guy rasp, and then what happened was, and I think that just happens with age with your voice. It's just mileage. I got him more. And I think that's why people like when I sing because of that thing in my voice. But it was like my voice definitely got lower with age, obviously lower with age. But when I sit in a certain pocket when I rap, it does that. So that me, what you're hearing now, like Beanies and Snapbacks, me, I was there, me, shadowboxing in the dark, me, is actually me not being so aggressive and pulling back on my delivery. So maybe it's the chill thing. That's a Nas thing. I'm like, probably. I'm actually just trying to, the way I talked to Soy about it, because Soy picked it up. And rest in peace, my brother, Chris Crescendo, he picked it up. He was like, yo, it's like grown men rap. I'm like, that's it. I'm trying to embrace my maturity. And so instead of over, my old stuff is super hype. Like
I think you're doing it too, though, with the beat selection and creation,
and I love jazz and stuff. So
you have all these keys, these brass instruments, these like I can't even say it, like Glockenspiel.
I like that, like, Glockenspiel.
I don't know what it's called. I can't say it, but like Glockenspiel, like that kind of stuff in there. That's like,
but you know what?
Kind of more classic to it.
I wouldn't be mad if Nas did hear my music. And like, yo, you're dope. And I can tell I influenced you, but you're really dope. I could live with that. I honestly could, because he made me want to be a rapper, and not only be a rapper, but a lyricist. But what Nas can't do that I can do is sing, and I'm good with that. You know what I mean? Like, I've heard Nas sing. I don't know if you have. I've heard him attempt it. Oh gosh, bro. It sounds like Macy Gray if she couldn't hold a note though. I try to say goodbye and not choke like that. You know what I mean? You ever heard Nas do it? It's hilarious. Like a million,
dude, you need to do voiceover work, man. You're talking to me over here,
bro. We can do a whole segment of what voice can Knaladeus do, bro. I would love you.
Wow,
listen. I don't know how much of this is gonna be usable. Listen, bro. I don't care.
I'm not cutting anything.
Listen, I love it.
So far, I'm not cutting.
This is us. This is us, man. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Cheers. Hold on. Cheers. I think you got like a water. I got a Mio water. Cheers, man.
Yeah. Cheers.
This is us, man. Cheers. Hold on. Let me take a sip. You took a sip. I die.
You always got to. Yeah. You always got to do it. But
God, you guys don't realize this is an excuse for me and Swiss to hang out. You guys are. You guys are just in our conversation.
Yeah, like wait till you see our text voice.
Come on, man. Let's go.
More like Eddie's.
right. I prefer audio message because I'm very tedious and I'm a detail oriented person, and my wife knows I hate texting. I don't know why. I'm weird like that. Unless I have to
it's efficient.
It is, bro. Thank God for audio messaging, and
Yeah.
Telegram.
Well, now I know you're not on iPhone, but the iPhone will. Well, actually, it doesn't do it with yours because you're on Android. But like, if you were on an iPhone.
What is with the hold on? You Apple users,
there's no hate. There's no hate.
You Apple users have this condescending tone. Listen, even when you don't try, you're like, yeah, man. So we got this new feature, right? And then you hold your phone in a view I can't see. You're like, hey, man. So we have this feature right now, and then you go, I know you guys don't have it. It's no shade. It's no shade. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I can literally send my prayers to God now. It's crazy.
Goes straight to
AI,
I get a red message.
You know how the scripture that says the Holy Spirit groans that we don't understand? Well, AI can interpret it now. On an iPhone only.
iPhone only. Well, but like the iPhone will actually transcribe an audio message for you. So like if you send it to me and I'm in a meeting and I can't listen to it,
hey, buddy,
I can read it.
We have that. We have that now. The
they
only thing with iPhone is
I'm just saying they need to make it like crossover.
Listen, we actually have that.
Right, I know, but I'm just saying like it doesn't work cross like.
This reminds me of a Mike Tyson interview.
iOS.
I know this is a tangent, but people talk to Mike Tyson and he's like super like matter of fact. You know how Mike Tyson is.
Yeah,
and he's like, no, Mike, I'm telling you, iPhone. No, that's not true, man. That's not it. That's not it. No, you're wrong. No, that's not. No, you're wrong. You're sorry. That's not true.
We're gonna clip cartoons of you.
Oh, like that'd be fire. That'd be fire. Not for nothing, bro. The worst thing I know, and I know I'm gonna the only way this interview will go viral is probably this one part. When Mike Tyson cries, and I know it's wrong to say that to make fun of that, but did you ever hear him cry on live air? It is it's not only is it cringe, but it's actually funny, and it's sad that it's funny. Because he gets so choked up that he can't talk straight. And it's like, he's already Mike Tyson, so come on, bro.
Yeah,
he's not the best orator in the world, right? But he does this thing where he goes, I want to turn the cameras off. Like he does that. I know that was bad, but listen,
I gotta
watch the interview. You'll laugh harder when you look back at this. Right, I did a great impression of him crying, but it's so bad. Like, this is a man. To talk about masculinity, this is a man who's like hiding it.
Yes.
So when he cries, his voice just goes out the window.
That's so funny.
He's like, listen, don't talk to me like that. You understand? You understand? Yeah. And he goes, I'm dead serious, man. Anybody who's watching the Tyson interview will be like, yo, that's.
Hey, who you think he's gonna whoop the crap out of Logan Paul?
I want him to, in a sense, but you know what it is? Because it's Mike, right? But
yeah,
man, bro, like when I saw the fight with Roy Jones Jr., that the expedition they did, you should check it out.
Yeah.
It's kind of a letdown because you see glimpses and shimmers of like Mike bits because they're older, right? So you see bits of it, and you could tell he trained, and he said that he felt like he was out of shape because he was heavier there. But you see that bob and weave, the thing he does, man, that peekaboo fight thing, and when he's able to kind of land it. A lot of people feel this way too. I felt like he was pulling punches with Roy because that's his friend.
Yeah,
but he wasn't doing the mic. Like when he was connecting, I felt like he wasn't giving it until the end. Like when he was like, "All right, I got to give him something." Yeah, and you could see Roy just like, and they were all out. They were both out of. They were both gassed. Like, bro,
dude,
winded.
I was a big Fight Night Roy Jones Jr. guy.
Yeah.
Like,
same.
Anytime I played Fight Night, I picked Roy Jones.
But that peekaboo, bro, is dangerous, man. That Mike Tyson switch and duck.
Yeah,
so
that whop.
I feel like
you couldn't pay me to get hit by him.
Oh, man, no. And listen, if you watch some of the press and people are trying to, like, make more of it, where they show, like, Jake Paul when they walk away from each other.
Jake Paul, yeah.
Is it Jake Paul? I could be wrong because there's a Logan brothers, right?
I get all their names.
Jake Paul. They're both brothers. Jake Logan or Paul Logan, whoever it is. The one that's going to get hopefully knocked out in a few months.
Yeah. But, Logan Jake Paul.
Right. But there's this thing where they're like leaving a press conference and everybody's making a big deal of it. Like, see, he hates Tyson. I'm like, and a lot of people said this, like, I think he's scared, bro. Like, it's Mike Tyson, bro. Like,
yeah, it's intimidating.
Even Mike is messing with him. You saw the press conference; they're like nose to nose.
I haven't seen nothing.
If you look up, there's a press conference where they're doing like a picture, and
right.
And he's doing that, and they face each other, and Mike sees it as a joke because Mike, he's not scared of him. So he goes, Mike's just sitting there, and they're like looking at each other in the face, and Mike starts like hitting him in the ribs, like joking and laughing when he's doing it. he's like, and then he pushes Mike, and then he laughs because he's trying to be serious. I'm like, Mike ain't taking this serious. I don't think he is. I think he's training, but it's like,
right.
You know,
I'm gonna. I mean, I've seen the training video. That's the only thing I've seen is like something on Instagram where it's like, here's Mike training, here's Jake training, and you're like, oh, that's different,
dude. But Mike, if Mike gets angry enough, man, I don't know, bro.
It's over.
That kid might go to the hospital. And
isn't it going to be on Netflix too?
Yeah, it's going to be. It's actually going to be live on Netflix. Yeah, I'm like,
I'm gonna watch that,
bro. I'm watching that.
I'm gonna watch that.
Crazy, like,
yeah.
We gotta hit each other up about that, man. We gotta run that back. We could
do a watch party.
Like that'd be crazy. Don't play, bro. Yeah. Don't play, man.
That'd be sick. But speaking of watching, I gotta go catch this movie with my wife, so I gotta cut this. But man, I love this project. I like that it's like a short little teaser. I know you said you've already sent me something from the next project that sounds way different.
Yeah.
Than what you're releasing here.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to talk about that, or
I mean, I can.
Like a little, hey, this is what I'm going to drop.
It's definitely coming. I know we're kind of looking at the beginning of next year, just because of the lineup we have and the potential projects coming from Menace. Like, want to leave space for those. But yeah, man, I think this might be one of my best ones because I felt very free making it. I'm trying to fuse like a gospel trap hip hop feeling. Which it's being done, but I was a little on it before I started hearing people doing it. It's just, it's been under the, radar. So nobody knows what I was doing. But I started hearing pieces of people doing stuff like that. I was like, okay. But when people hear the album, I'll wait. The choir thing, that's all my voice. So I did all the choir. Like, it was a little tedious, but I did in my different parts of the room, I recorded all the parts.
That's dope.
So that's actually that's all me. Just trying to make myself sound different in some of the, like, holding my nose, saying it weird. Yeah. And it sounds like a group of people.
You know who else does that well is before we did this, I did a live reaction to Just Ray's new project, The Hustle and Soul. And what I kept like pausing the video for was, and listen to all the different ways he uses his voice.
Yes. I've mixed sessions with his voice. So yes, he got stacks of stems.
He's got range,
bro. But I'm saying he got stems for days.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, the same thing. Like, I'm doing 4-part harmonies, but 4 stacks of each in different parts of the room. So the next album, I really go nuts with the choir stuff. Like,
nice.
Yeah, man.
I can't wait.
You'll be, you get a sneak, bro. It's almost done too. It's like, I got one track. I'll say this: I got one track left. I'm waiting for a chorus, and that's it, a hook.
Okay,
but it's done. Sick. I'll say that, and it's gonna be. I can even give you the amount. It's like gonna be around 10 songs, solid number, about 30 minutes. I try not to give people too much ear fatigue. 30 minutes of listening, maybe, and artwork and everything, bro, is ready. So
sick.
I'm trying to stay ahead of the curve, bro. Only Swiss gets it. Only Swiss gets the
Menace on. Nah, that's not true. Are you on any other Menace projects coming up this year?
Man, that's a good question.
That you're allowed to talk about?
That I can think of, actually. I'm trying to think. I know we're working on a lot, but yeah, you know how it usually works is like, because we're all homies. It's like Steph will be like, hey, bro, drop on something. And I don't know what it's for. Sometimes I don't know what it's for. Or C4 will be like, hey, man, do a verse on this. So I do have stuff that I've worked on. I just don't know where it's going to go.
You just don't know when it's to drop. Yeah.
Well, I don't know when. I don't know what it's for. But sometimes we'll just work like that together. And, so I think maybe those songs I was a part of might come out. I don't know for sure. That's just honest. You know what I mean? I don't know. I hope they do.
Sweet.
Because I thought they were good.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, everyone go get Shadowboxing in the Dark dropping, you said May 31st?
Yes, sir. May 31st.
Bam. May 31st. All DSPs, maybe Bandcamp. We don't know.
I hope so, yeah. We'll try to do that. If it is,
we'll buy it. And man, I'll be checking in on you that weekend and seeing how that goes. And man, I pray it reaches the right ears and the right people. And
thank you,
man, I'll tell you this right now. Sit Here has been probably the song you know how you have like your favorite songs that you listen to the most because they get you like excited or hyped, but then you have your favorite songs that are like, man, that's a song like I just want to listen to when I'm chilling.
Yeah.
And like that's the one I resonate with the most. Sit Here is that for me this year. So
thank you, bro.
I love that track. It's at the, if you go to my best of CHH 2020
Yeah.
2024 playlist, it's the first song.
Oh man, that's an honor, bro.
Because
Thank you.
when I click that playlist, that's the first thing I want to hear. So
oh wow,
man, I love you, bro.
Love you too, bro.
I really appreciate the time, and
thank you for your time too, bro.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to the wives for allowing us to have this time, bro. For real, I appreciate you.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank your wife and your kids for that too.
You, bro.
And then I'll see you Monday night too, right? You're gonna be on Monday night.
Oh yeah, that's right. I will be. Yes, sir. God willing. Yes, sir.
So sweet. I don't know what topics we're talking about. I think we might talk about that Harrison Butker stuff.
Just the way you said that Butker, it was just.
I don't know. That's how it's spelled.
Had a little zestiness on the end of that. You know, just a teeny bit. Just a teeny
very
bit.
white of me.
No. That's not what I meant. It was just a little zestiness on the end.
Oh,
okay. No. I'll mess with you.
All right, bro. I'll catch you later, man.
Love you, Swiss, bro. Thank you.
Love you too, bro.